Monday. I'm gonna get a reading, but before I get in, before I touch any cards, I feel like somebody could be going through something right now. Let me push you back, and I want you to know it's not where you start, it's where you end. And it don't matter how many times you have to start over. See, we feel like life is not promised to anybody. This is true, but sometimes you got to start over because sometimes you may have started the wrong way, or sometimes you may need more guidance or more support. I don't know if I'm pressing this thing wrong, y'all. So it's okay to start over. I don't know who needs to hear that. It's okay to start from ground zero where you don't know what's going to happen next, or where the most high God is taking you. But you just got to start over. You just got to get it started, and it may be hard, y'all. I don't know what I did to this thing. Hold on. I don't know if see. I had it on a charger and everything. Let's see. This thing got a thing. Give me a little extra light. So I don't know if you have it. This thing here, y'all. Let's see if it say. I don't know what's wrong with it. So I don't know if you're in a relationship and you're afraid to start over. I don't know if you're at a job and you're afraid to start over. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter where you begin. It's always where you end, and that's anything in life. If don't be afraid to start over. That's what I feel. I feel like so anything that's worth having, you're gonna have to work hard for it, but you're gonna have bumps along the way. It's gonna be the enemy coming up against you. Even when you first get into spirituality and you praying and you trying to do everything right, everything ain't gonna be perfect while on the journey. Things are gonna fall. It's gonna feel like you doing everything right, but everything attacking you. It's gonna feel like your whole foundation is falling apart because you're doing something different, because you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So I don't know who this message is for. It doesn't matter where you start. It don't matter if you don't have all the tools. It don't matter if you have little to no support. Just start, because I know that when you start, God gonna give you the tools that you need to finish where He wants you to finish. You know what I did, what I want. Hold on 1 minute, you guys. Gotta get my spiritual bracelets. It ain't no road until God found. I don't see it. Okay. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna get into this message, but I just want somebody to know that, because um my journey with spirituality, my journey with losing weight, I always start real strong, and I commit to something. And this morning I had a short for y'all, but I guess it deleted. I don't know how it deleted, but I was walking and I was exercising, and I was basically telling somebody it doesn't matter if you have to start over again. Just start. It doesn't matter if you're going to get weary along the way. That's why you have to pray before you do anything. Like normally in the morning while I'm getting my kids prepared for school, I'm praying for them. Before they hit the door, I'm praying. But this morning I decided to, go with them, and I was gonna forget to pray, and I was like, wait a minute, we could pray while we walking. And that right there was something in my head is, Camelia, it didn't matter how you started, as long as you didn't forget to put God first. When we're rushing and we get your book bag, get this, get that, make sure you put lotion on your face, make sure you pray. And the kids hear you, but it's like you giving them so many instructions at one time. Somebody gonna follow. Somebody gonna not do something right. Somebody gonna forget to grab their lunch. Somebody gonna forget to put their homework in the bag. But as long as you don't let that discourage you on the journey, When I first got into spirituality, I felt like I was failing God because I was never taught about spirituality. What do you mean by that, Camelia? Yes, I was taught that you're supposed to go to church, you're supposed to tithe, you're supposed to give God 10% of everything you make, which I do. I'll put it in my Bible. But I started going to churches that made me feel like in the beginning, it's come as you are, with all your flaws, with the sins you've committed, and then we're going to get you together. I felt like church was somewhere it's like that I was supposed to learn how to get in alignment. But I noticed that every time I went to a different church, I was judged not by my actions, but by the clothes that I wore, or, judging me by things that I could not control at the time. People tend to judge you on what they see on the outer part of you, but they don't know the struggle or the journey that you're on or what you're going through. You're welcome. So I don't know who you are and I don't know what you may be going through, but I want you to know that God is never displeased with you when you feel like you've fallen short, because God is a forgiving God, and he's a loving God, and he's a patient God. And we tend to beat ourselves up because we trying to please God. But when you doing what's right, firstly is putting God first, right? The second thing is asking for forgiveness when you don't know how to pray, when you don't know what to do. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times going to church, it pushed me away from what the bigger meaning is. I'm coming to church to get the message. I'm coming to church to change my ways. I'm coming to church. But when you go into church, most times if you are not dressed the way that they feel you should dress, you're being judged. If you're dealing with addictions, like I used to smoke a lot, and I was a woman that I needed to smoke before I did whatever I did, So now you coming in church, you got that smell on you. So now the elders of the church, they basically judging you because they like, hey, you coming to church smelling like weed, but that's not what you should have got at it. What you should have got at it is that I'm coming to church, not my flaws, not the things that I'm doing wrong, but that I'm here to get the message, but I'm also not to lead the same way that I walked in this building. Because you don't know the burdens that was on my shoulders when I'm trying to go into church to do the right thing. So I'm understanding now, because I've done a lot of interviews. Before I started with YouTube, I started with Facebook, and I wanted to interview the youth. So my thing was interviewing people that were younger than me to ask them, like, what do you feel about, because I live in Chicago. I'm like, what do you feel about the violence in Chicago? What do you feel about peer pressure? What do you feel about following God? And my son said, well, Mama, I feel like that Chicago is a bunch of people in everybody's business. And then, we as younger people feel like we got to carry a gun. We got to protect ourselves. We feel like if we got a Bible and we praying, we the lames. So I had to dig deep inside of myself to understand what their young man was coming from. But I also had to forgive myself because I was never taught the right things about spirituality. And I had to forgive myself because the church may judge me, but I know that God was never judging me. And I know that it didn't matter how many times I had to start over, to reread the Bible, the same scriptures over and over again, to fast, to try to get in alignment. God was not mad with me. If anything, God was pleased with me because I kept seeking him first. I kept falling, but I kept saying, but I know that I got to do this because I know that I got to be honest. I know that I got to change my ways. I started being the woman that I didn't want to be because I started being the mother that I grew up to, the mother that was upset, the mother that really didn't go to church. Maybe we went to church on Easter, or we went to church maybe here and there, but we didn't go to church the way that it wasn't. Kids need structure. Just that's with anything in your life, you need structure. But I feel like it doesn't matter where you start as long as you start. God not judging you if you wait. He only judging you if you say, God, I'm going to give my life to you. And then when things don't go your way, or you feel like, I really do believe, I don't know what, I really do believe that God rejection is all of our protection. But I also believe that we be beating ourselves up about things that God has already forgave us for. So we walk around with these burdens that we carrying, and God is saying, I didn't give you those burdens, nor did I say that the battle was yours. What I said was I was using you while going through the battle to get the bigger picture. Do you understand? God has gave me a different perspective about churches. I'm understanding that the church is in my closet. The church is in my bedroom. The church is anywhere that I make a relationship with God. It does not mean that I have to go inside a church to have a relationship with God, because you could go to church every Sunday, but who am I when I leave a church? Am I really trying to be a better woman? Am I really trying to stop cursing? Am I really trying to get in alignment so that God will see that I may have fulfilled a lot? But one thing you could say along the journey that I always drew myself back to you. I'm in North Carolina and I don't know much about Chicago, but I hear it's an issue with migrants. Is it true? Yeah, it's true. But it's more or less, to me, the bigger picture with the city that I live in is the violence, but it's also the churches that say, come as you are. And these kids, they may hear, listen, things may draw them in a church like the choir. They may hear the music and they like, woo, what church is this? And then they come in and they may have just smoked or whatever, and they being judged instead of being welcomed in. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that sometimes we push people away with our approach. Sometimes we make people think because they fell off the board. That's just like with me with losing weight. I heard my friend say, I wish I was there with you, because you need somebody to hold you accountable when you start your journey. You need somebody to be like, Camelia, come on. It's 6:30. You said you wanted to go to the gym. And that's support that we need. I feel like the city that I live in is so corrupt by violence, by not knowing certain things, that they attack each other. It's really like crabs in a bucket here. And a lot of times we fault our parents because we feel like they didn't teach us what we needed to know to withstand the things that we go through as an adult. This is why at a young age, I'm teaching my children about credit. I had to teach myself about it. I'm teaching my children to pray and lean not on your own, not even with a friend. I had to tell my daughter yesterday, if you really think this is your friend, pray and ask God for a sign. God, please show me a sign that I'm not putting my all into somebody that's going to hurt me in the end. When you ask in God, I'm noticing that every day that I put God first, that's with any test in my life. I noticed that when I tried to go take my state board, I didn't pray. I was worried. I walked in the building with worry on my chest. I didn't go in there like God walking with me. It's an army behind me. I'm going to take this test. I'm going to pass this test. Well, not the last test that I just took last week, the week before last, I prayed. I told the lady that was giving me the test, I said, can I pray? She said, you could do whatever you want to do. And once I put God in the first, God, I need you. I know I ain't been perfect. I know a lot of times I fall short. Hell, a lot of times I feel like I'm not the best mother, but I'm still trying. God, I need you to show me give me a different perspective. Okay. And show me what's for me and I passed. But it wasn't me. It was God's force. It was God. It was when I waited and got out of my own way. I was rushing through things in life. I kept rushing. And in certain places that I went to church, I didn't ask God, is this the one? God, can I go in this building? I remember when I moved out west, because I live on the west side of Chicago. It was a church that had sit there for 2 years. And I always said that I was going to visit this church, but God never gave me the okay. And it was one time he was like, well, go in. And when I went in, God started exposing spirits to me. He started exposing who the pastor was. He just started exposing things. And I was like, well, thank you, God, because had I not prayed, even to where he was convicting my spirit when I went to church in the wrong energy. Like, I'm a type of person, I like to be prompt. And if I'm on time, I'm not on time. But if I'm early, I'm on time. So I used to be mad at my kids if I got your clothes out and we was late for church. Like, it'll mess my whole energy up. God started convicting my spirit when I was not in the right energy while sitting in the place of God, to where I would have to pick my bag up and be like, I'll try again next Sunday because my energy off. I'm sitting up here, my face balled up. I'm not receiving the message because I didn't even, my head is not clear enough to receive what the pastor is trying to get me. I'm thanking God because when you ask for his guidance, he will truly, it don't matter what you are going through. When you ask for God, God, is this the man for me? Is this the school for me? Is this the car for me? Is this the business that I'm supposed to? Oh, God will guide you and he'll show you why he made you wait, why he didn't allow you to get that, what is it, an LLC, or why he didn't allow you to collab or partner with certain people. I had to get out of my own way to understand that everything that I was going through in life, it was already written in heaven. The hard times, the molestation, the foster homes, the going without, it was already written to build my character. Whether I knew it or not, I was going to overcome it all. And I was too worried about the problems to say, well, thank you, God, that I ain't where I used to be. And thank you, God, that I am not carrying the same burdens that I have been carrying for years. I'm learning that when you put God first in anything, that's with anything, because I was dealing with addictions for so long. This is me being transparent. I was dealing with addictions with weed. I was dealing with addictions with liquor. And when I said, God, take the taste out of my mouth, because I never said that. I was just like, man, I'm going to quit. I got this. I got a strong will. When I asked God to take the taste out, I didn't have that taste no more. When I asked God to move my spirit, he truly started sending me people that didn't care. They just wanted to help. They didn't care what I had been through. They didn't care what I didn't know. They didn't mind educating me and helping me. When you truly ask God for the right people, you're going to see how he shows up for you. So the message is today, I don't care how many times you got to start over. God not counting the times that you had to start over. What he is counting is when you didn't put him first. When you allow people to say, well, I got you. You can count on me and I'll be there. And God like, but I never let you down. Anytime you asked me for something, I always showed up. I didn't show up when you wanted me to show up, but I always was on time for you. You never got to doubt my hand. You never have to go nowhere else and ask nobody else about me, because I've always been honest. I've always been true, and I've always been patient with you. Somebody, you need to know that God is patient. He's going to be patient with you along this journey. And he do not expect you to be perfect when you're starting. He just expects you to make mistakes so that you can get it right. He expects you to lean on him more. He don't get tired of you calling on his name. I talk to God in my sleep. I made this a habit of talking to him. God, I didn't have a good day yesterday. I slipped up. I was cursing. And God never judges me. Is anything, he talks to my spirit. I learned how to listen to God speak to my spirit. Camellia, I remember I started fasting, and I was having this bad feeling. Normally I would walk and go get my kids every day. And this day God said, don't you walk. You get you a ride. And I was like, what? I'm like, no, God, I want to save that money. I need that money. And I kept hearing him say, don't walk, get you a ride. And so I got outside and I was getting ready to be hard-headed. I'm like, man, I'm finna go ahead and walk. Shoot, they asking for $15 to go just up the street. Man, I'm finna go. And before I knew it, it was a collision at the end of my block. A lot of people got hurt. And right where I was at, I started praising God. I started saying, thank you, God, because you were telling me. And it was like right after a dream. And I woke up and I was like, I thought I was late to get the keys. I'm like, oh my God, my kids just standing out there. They looking for me. And God was like, don't walk. And the voice was stern, but it was still calm. It was still patient. Camellia, don't walk. And this is the voice that always gives me that caution when I'm outside or when I'm at a party or wherever I'm at a get together. God will say, don't get in that car. Don't associate with those people. And I really feel like while in that moment, he's testing me. You're going to be hard-headed, and then you're going to get yourself hurt, and then you're going to be saying, God, why me at the end of the night? Because that's my thing. Every time something go wrong, I tend to forget that he warned me, because warning come before destruction. God will continue to warn you. He'll continue to warn you. He'll show you somebody time and time again. And then you will be saying to yourself, but I love this person, God. And I got a problem with trying to fix people. I got a problem with when somebody will show me the ugliest part of them, I'm still trying to find a better part of them. Like, nah, that ain't you. You just been hurt before. But I understand that the connection with God is so strong that he never steers me wrong. And even though I reneged on him, it was so hard for me to stop smoking weed. It was so hard. And I ain't gonna lie, some days if I want to, I keep it. But I'm not the way that I used to be. I needed it. I was the kind of woman that I could not eat without smoking. I wouldn't clean up without smoking. And I needed God to change me because I knew that I was better than that. But I never had nobody to say, Camelia, you so much better than what you have grew up in. You're so much better than what you have been seeing. You so much better than your environment that you had to grow up in. So, and then I didn't even know the kids was watching me. So when they was like, Mom's so proud of you. And even though they were saying they was proud, it didn't make me feel full until I went in there and I'm drawing my bath and I'm putting my rose petals in there. And some said, just get down on your knees, Camelia. And I got down and I'm like, God, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm trying to get different positions. I'm trying to work in the field that I went to school for. It's just not me, God. And when I got out of saying I was tired and started asking him for the strength that I needed, started asking him to prepare me, started asking him to change me and make me more like him, to say that I forgive you, but wholeheartedly forgive you. But I ain't thinking about where you hurt me, but I'm really forgiving you. I needed God to work on me within a way that even while other people was judging me, I could still hear his voice. I could still hear the teachings. I could still feel the love. And I was alone a lot of the times. And I would ask God, well, God, what's wrong with me that I have to be separated from so many people? What's wrong with me that the things that used to excite me, like the parties, the clubs, the drinking, it don't excite me no more. The gossip, it don't excite me no more. And it's because when you literally ask God to change you, you're going to see him picking things up and throwing it out. You're going to see him rearranging your life. You're going to see God changing your way that you speak, your perspective of things. I kept chasing money. God, I need this money. I need this money to pay my rent, God. I need this money to get these kids this again. And I kept, God was still with me for a long time. I couldn't hear his voice. And he was saying, well, girl, those are my kids. You are my child. Here you go worrying again about worldly things. Do you really trust me? Or are you saying you trust me because I blessed you in the last season? And I had to think about that. And I had to ask myself, was I only trusting God because he was blessing me? Was I only being faithful because I was waiting on what God was going to do for me? God has been good to me so many times. Even as a child, I used to have trouble in my stomach when I used to have to get ready to go to the next shelter. Because as a kid, you tend to grow a worry, And I used to always hear his voice, so sweet. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. So and it used to be little girls in the shelter with me, and they used to be like, because they never knew how to pronounce my name. They'd say Camilla. Camilla, why you not scared? Aren't you afraid to go with those different people? No, God is going with me. God used to, every shelter I went to, there was a woman there that took a liking in me. The little short stubby girl that didn't mind washing me up. Y'all, I'm finna get a little emotional. Used to be this woman, I'll never forget her. And I was in a shelter and I was little. And she would come in every day. And she would change my dresses. And she would bring me her daughter's dresses. And when it was time for her shift to be over, I would cry. And she would say, "You my baby. I'll be back to see you tomorrow." And I would pray every night nothing happened to her and that she would surely come look for me every morning. And it was the love that this woman gave me, not knowing my story, but I knew she knew what I had been through because the care that she took with me, it was like God must have spoke to her spirit. I mean, the woman would get off of her shift at about 5, but she would stay there till I fell asleep every night. And I would tell her, I would say, "I'm so ugly. I'm so dark. Nobody loves me." And this was a white woman. And she would say, "I love you." And she said, "I'll be here." And sometimes she would even cry with me. When it was time for me to be placed, she would sit there and cry with me and say, "Do you believe in God?" And I'll say, "I do." And she'll say, "Well, you're going to be just fine, right?" And I think it didn't hurt me to leave the shelter. It hurt me to lose her. Because I felt like as a child, every time I got comfortable in a place, this is my bed. These are my dials. This is my books. I will get snatched out of that place. And I feel like God was trying to tell me the whole time I was never alone, that he was always going to get me through. And it did look bad while going through it because I never understood, well, God, you a good God. So why does a child have to endure so much? But it built the shit out of my character. And it taught me how to love other people's children because I was once that child that never felt loved. Even being placed with my family, I felt like they didn't want me, but they had to get me. And now as an adult, and I'm a mother, I think God has gave me the greatest gift that I can ever ask for. And it didn't matter where I start because I know that, yes, I may have started in a shelter and before that in a crack house and, but the will of God, whatever God has on my life, I truly know that it's special because I didn't die. I've been in fires. God saved my life and I was a kid. So I don't know who you are and I don't know what you may be dealing with that's got you all shook up. And right now, your faith, you feel like God somewhere have forgotten about you. And you feel like you get more bills and you ain't got enough bills. You ain't got enough money to cover the bills that you got. You got all this trouble, but you got no problem solver to help you out. I want you to have the faith. I need you to know that God is watching over you. And even when it gets tough, he know that it's tough, but he know that you're stronger than that situation. And he needs you to know that it ain't over. He wants you to build your faith so much that whatever comes up against you, it doesn't worry you where you lose you. Because we tend to lose ourselves when we go through certain problems. I pray every day that my kids do whatever happened to me. Because I live in a tri-city. That my kids, that the day that they say, well, your mama, she didn't make it, they always know how much I love them, how much I try to protect them, And how many times that I knew I didn't get it right, but I didn't mind starting over again. I don't lie to my kids. See, a lot of people raise their kids different from. I talk to my kids about damn near everything. And I don't want to hide things from them that they're going to find out anyway. I want them to be so prepared. I thank God for every awesome woman that I've learned, that I've met along the way. I thank God for every journey that I've went on. Whether it was hard, whether I felt abandoned, alone, threw away, God always showed me that I was never the bottom of the barrel. I just was born into a karmic life, a karmic situation that I have to break those curses that I didn't know that one day I was going to have to break. That's why I have to pray so much. And that's why the enemy comes up even harder, because it's a purpose on my life that's undeniable. So wherever you are in life, wherever you standing or whatever you're going through, understand that the reason why you're going through what you're going through, because there's a purpose on your life. So your story may be a little more trying than the next. And sometimes it may bring you to tears. But it doesn't make you weak. I learned to never question God again. Because every time I needed him, in any situation, he got me out. And that don't make me no special than you. It just lets me know that God is always listening, even when we think he's not listening. But more or less, he's paying attention to our thoughts. Because you can say all the time that you're a believer. But when you go through something and you being tested, are you truly a believer? Did you believe in God to get you out of that? Were you walking by faith and not by sight? Even though you can't see the blessings, are you still believing? Even though you can't see the weights being lifted, are you still trusting? Even though things don't work out the way that you feel they should work out, God will make you wait, collective. While you waiting, use your time wisely. While you waiting, never stop asking God for help. God doesn't get tired of you calling his name. God doesn't get tired of you crying out. God never gets tired of us. Certain times God uses you because he wants you to know how much you are loved. He wants you to know that I knew that you were going to get over that. I knew that you were going to pass the test. I knew that you were going to be great. I knew that I never told you that things were going to be easy on the journey following me. There was people that came before you that went through way bigger battles, but the battle alone was not their battle. God will send you helpers along the way. Collective. Believe in God more than you believe in anything. Trust God more than you trust the naysayers, because they gonna come up against you. They're going to try to shake your faith because they want to know truly who's keeping you. Why are you so strong? Why are you not broken? Because most, I seen a teacher and I was with my children. She was like, "Oh, your family is so beautiful." It was like she didn't expect me to be who I was because she had already read my story. See, sometimes God got a way of allowing people to judge you and then you being the miracle that came out. allowing people to test you, but the whole time God is with you, so you're never alone. And you should have seen the look on her face. It was like she felt like she had been bamboozled, because she had already knew that because I came from the system, because I went through everything I went through, that I wasn't going to amount to anything. But here I was, years later, a hell of a mother, but I'll still be going through. Didn't been to college, didn't have some of the best jobs, but I also had a struggle behind. It was like I knew that God wanted me to see her look. I knew that God wanted me to go home and pray about it, then wait on his answers about it. But had I knew the little girl from the shelter was going to be able to speak I spoke at events. I've moved people in ways that I never thought that God was going to work through me to do the work that he was doing. I've went into hermits to understand the mental health that was placed on the mental health issues that have been placed in my family, that I knew things was weird and I didn't know why people in my family act a certain way. But I had to dig deep. I had to understand that there was trauma that lied deep inside of them. And when you don't heal that trauma and you suppress it, it comes out in other ways. I had to learn how to accept them for who they was and not to judge them. Because I didn't want to be judged for the times in my life that I was karmic, that I didn't get it right, that I didn't always lean on God's understanding, because I knew that I could hustle. I knew that I knew that if there's a will of the way, I could find a way to pay some rent. I could find a way to pay the bills. I could find a way to keep these kids at a float. But God started getting me uncomfortable. Because sometimes you will sit and you'll be like, well, I got food. I got a little bit of a saving. I'm all right. God is showing me never to get comfortable, because life, you never know what life is going to throw you. You never know what circumstances life is going to. As soon as you think that you're comfortable, that's when God will throw you a ball to see, what did you learn? How far have you come? Are you going to pray about the problem as soon as the problem arrives, or are you going to complain about it? I learned to stop complaining. I'm being shown in this season that even the little people around me, my daughter be like, Mama, you believe in God, don't you? Well, you know we gonna move. You know we gonna have it. Mama, you tell me all the time to pray. I'm thanking God, because they say the children are an inheritance from God. My daughter turned and told me, she said, Mom, I think I'm going to always look for you. No matter what life I'm born into, I think I'm going to always find you. And that warmed my heart. Because in my mind, I could be a better mother. In my mind, I know that anything I can do it better. Sometimes I just do things because I feel like I'm a jack of all trades, but then I put my best into it. I'm learning to pray, but believe in the prayers and know that it's already done. I feel like the problem was with me was I would go to God with the same old prayer. And I knew that it wasn't right. So I started asking God, God, show me how to pray. Show me the words to say. Help me to learn how to pray the right way. Not only to call you when something bad going on, but to talk to you when everything is just fine. God, open the doors for me that you want to be open. Oh, that was a different one. Because I was praying for doors to be open, but I didn't ask God to open the right doors for me. God, in this season, I've been asking God, open the doors that you want me to walk through. And while I'm walking through the doors, God, give me the words to speak. Because I can be ignorant sometimes. But I'm tired of saying I don't know. I want to know, God. I'm learning that if I don't have it, it's because I ain't asked for it. If I'm waiting, it's because it's a greater purpose attached to it. And it doesn't matter how many times I have to start over. It never matters where I started. Because my life been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of I've been on a roller coaster with this thing. To the fact that when people in my life, in my family that has apologized, I'm sorry, y'all had a rough life. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. See, everything in my life was according to plan. I had to go through those things. It made me stronger. And soon I will be that lady at that shelter, being able to stay overtime, to give my daughter's dresses that's never worn to somebody else's child. I know God's going to turn that thing around for me. And I pray for the lady that was in that shelter when I pray for myself, whether she's still alive, because I'm knocking some years now, so she may be gone. But she was so kind. And you can always tell a woman by the eyes. Seemed like she had been crying that morning before even knowing my name. She was, and it was like she worked with the right kind of people. Because she was like, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to get something and I'm going to come back. My first jump rope, she bought it. Teaching me how to read, doing things beyond her job, just to let me know that you're just not another little girl in a shelter. That even though I'm not your mother, but I'm going to show you certain things. I'm going to give you tools, show you the tools to not worry when the times comes, when they do come to your room and say, you got to leave here. We have a family that we're going to place you with this family. I'm going to show you how I know how to pray. I needed that. So the message is, collective, God will meet you right where you stand. And God does bless the mess when he sees it fit to bless you. And it doesn't matter the sin. It doesn't matter what you have done. It matters where you ask for forgiveness. And it matters how pure you asking. I'm not a fatherless child. I'm learning that God was always there for me. I'm learning that I don't want no sympathy for what I've been through. Because it's plenty more stories that's way rougher than mine. I'm thankful. Because I was told that I would never have children because of my circumstances. And I'm able to have children. I'm learning that God is my doctor. God is my teacher. God is my friend. God is my comforter. I'm never truly alone, collective. You're never truly alone. Even when you feel alone, God be right there holding your hand through it. Even when you feel deserted, he be speaking to your spirit. You know that little voice that you hear when you go into the grocery store and you didn't wrote a list, and then God will say, get the ginger. Don't forget the dandelion tea. That be God will speak to your spirit if you never close your heart because of the bad things you've been through in life. Sometimes, because I remember a time where I did close my heart to God. Because I was like, God, how could you allow me? I'm little. I'm a little girl. Why do I got to go through so many hard things? Why aren't you pulling me out of these things? Why do I keep going to homes that I'm only a check? Why are they looking at me as money and not a person? And these were things that I was asking God as a child. So I knew how mature I was. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you start, collective, or how many times you got to start over. You may have to start over again. You may have to start over again. You may have to say, I'm gonna leave this situation. because I know this ain't for me. I know true love because I know how God loves. And this ain't true love. I know that I'm represented because I know that God is right here with me. I'm learning that when I pray before I go in meetings, God makes it that he touches every person in that board meeting. He touching every soul. He makes sure that I run across the right people. I know that when I don't pray, I get some evil individuals, some evil energy. You got to understand, collective, when you leaning not on your own understanding, and you leaning with God, the devil gonna attack you triple fold. He's gonna attack you because he wants you to believe that God ain't gonna save you, that God ain't gonna get you out. A lot of things we go through in life are tests. At the end, you're gonna have a testimony. Spiritual confirmation, Belch. I ain't where I want to be, collective. I got a long way to go, but I ain't where I used to be. I'm thanking God for that. I ain't thinking how I used to think. And I'm grateful for every face, every voice, every hug, every warm embrace that I've got along the way. I've had men that were father figures to me that was not my father, that wiped tears from my eyes that they had never needed. They didn't have to do that. I had men that told me while I was in beauty school and I used to travel 2 hours to go to school. Don't give up. Remember what you're fighting for. I remember going to graduation with $2.50 in my pocket and not knowing how I was going to get home. But I knew that I just had to put one foot in front of the other. Not even knowing when I got there, God had a check waiting on me. Sometimes you got to go through it to get through it. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself when nobody else around you believe in you, collective. Sometimes you got to fight even though you don't feel like fighting. God will give you the words to speak. God will give you he will give you the knowledge that you need in rooms where they thought that because you didn't have a GED or because you didn't finish school, that God wasn't going to use you. People will be like that. And you also got people that judge you by what you have on. They judge you by your skin. They judge you by where you live, your ethnics. You got people that will do that. But God will make them same people have to draw back and reconsider when it comes to you. I have people that judged me and right now wishing that they could get around me. I had situations where I was judged and God sent people that said, well, I'll help you. You can work in this field. I love the way that you are with children. You're so patient. But I had to grow to be patient. I wasn't always patient. I had to pray for those kind of things. God, show me how to be patient. But I had to be ready for what I was praying for. I don't know who message this is. Don't you give up because it didn't start the way you thought it was supposed to start. Don't you give up. I don't care where you need to start. It ain't going to, listen, when I first started YouTube, I didn't have a camera. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just started. I never thought that it was going to reach as many people as it reached, but it started reaching the right folks. I need you to believe in yourself. I told myself today, I said, God, wherever you take me, I'm willing to go. I don't know where you taking me, but I've been dreaming about a lot of traveling. I see God taking me in a lot of different places. I see me waking up in different, with places with different weather. I see amazing people helping me, reaching for me. And we getting this point where people judge, oh, you this big old age, you should know how to do that. Don't worry about them folks. Them ain't the ones that God gonna send to help you. God gonna send the ones that ain't gonna judge you because of your age that you don't know. But they're gonna be patient with you and be willing to bag you and willing to invest in you. I don't know who I'm talking to. Just start. Write it down. Long-term goal, short-term goal, and work at it. And it's okay if you go take that test and you ain't ready and whatever, just go again. Go as many times as you need to. I guarantee you, pray before you get in there. Don't take no worry with you. Because if you take a worry with you, you got doubt. Go in there, I got this already. It's already mine. By God's stripes, I'm healed. That diagnosis they gave you, you ain't get the biggest. See, you ain't get the first opinion. The first opinion was God. See, the government and shit is, excuse my language, it's supposed to make you, it's designed to make you stay sick. They don't want you to get well, collective. They don't want you to research herbs and teas and the good things to place in your body. Because if you don't get well, you will always need the doctors. They don't want you to educate your mind. It's so crazy when you really put your faith in God. He'll teach you, he'll show you what you should be eating. It's all in the word of the Bible. God didn't eat no pork or none of that stuff. God will make sure that you have everything you need when you need it. Yes, he will. I'll be worrying about something, and then right when I need it, God will give me the abundance that I need to take care of it and give me a little bit more to bless somebody else. I'm learning more and more. These things here on earth, the treasures of the earth, men can take it. I'm setting my treasures in heaven, and I've been doing this. I was talking to Malachi, which is my oldest son, and I was like, you think people judging me? He said, Mama, you always love God. He said, even since I was a little boy, you played your gospel. He was like, you was always into God. So if somebody try to say that you wasn't, they really don't know you. But I feel a lot of the way. I gang banged. I hustled. I was into everything underneath the sun. That's why I'm so understanding when it comes to my children. Not meaning that I agree with what I ain't going to agree. I'm never going to agree to what, but I understand because I was once you. I may not know what you're dealing with, but I've dealt with peer pressure. I'm learning that I'm a lot for God to deal with, but he continued to deal. I'm learning that when people be telling me, because I used to hear a lot of people tell, oh, Camelia, you too much to deal with. It was really that I was for them. But God will give you the ones that ain't gonna never say you too much to deal with because you're not. I got a good friend, and she told me, she said, Camelia, when are you gonna go back and reach for little Camelia? And I said, what? She said, you need a day where you don't have the children, where you're not concerned about your business and everything you got, but you need to reach back for that broken child. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm in my 30s. And she's like, no, you're going to always fall victim if you don't reach back, right? I'm still healing from shit that happened to me as a child. And I'm learning to be okay with that. I'm learning to stop acting like that I'm not human. I cry where I want to cry. I heal where I want to heal. I go where I want to go, and I know that I'm protected because God is with me. I'm not damaged goods. I used to hear conversations where the new foster mother would be reading over what I went through, and this girl been raped, and this girl been. That's what I went through, but that wasn't my fault. How could you judge somebody that went through that, but you haven't been through that? God will deal with people on your behalf. It don't matter when they wronged you. God will deal with them folks when it comes to you, because they had no right to put their mouths on your situation. They had no right to judge your hurt when they didn't never endure the hurt. So how do they know how you feel? They can't tell you not to talk about it. They haven't been through it. Collective. On this journey of your life, allow God to lead you and watch how far you go. Start praying before everything. Before you push the start, before you start that car up, before you go to work, start praying before why? God, I pray for this work environment. I know these folks don't like me. I know they go in corners and talk about me, God, but I need you to walk through that place before I enter inside that place. God, I need you to bridle my tongue. Season my tongue, God, because sometimes I want to say what I feel too, since we throwing around feelings in here. God, speak to my spirit when it's time to go. And I know it's time to go, but I'm so used to the same pattern over and over, and I sit and hurt when I know that I don't have to sit in it. God, show me how to deal with problems with my children. Because these are the children you gave me, God. And just because they become grown don't mean they ain't my babies. They always gonna be my children. So God, show me how to deal with them in a manner that they didn't deal with me. Allow me not to get mad when they say, well, Mom, I need protection, but show me how to deal with it. Show me how to talk to that teenager that's going through puberty or feel like they ready to do something that they ain't got no business doing. Allow me to be patient, allow me to be kind, and allow me to listen when they speaking. Because everything they did, I already did, but I hid it. I don't want my kids to hide it from me. Mama, I'm ready. Could you take me to the clinic? Mama, I got some bad news. I want my kids to call me about everything. I don't never want them to feel like whatever they go through, they got to hide it. And I never want them to feel less than. Tell my kids that all the time. God got a purpose on your life. And maybe you got to fight a little bit harder than everybody else got to fight. But that makes the testimony even better. God will open doors for you when people think they close the doors to confuse the enemy. God will put you in a whole different place. And you will have to start over, but it'll be the best start that you know when God make you starting over. You'll know when God is you'll get to throwing things away that you thought you needed. Oh, this been there for years. Let me throw that away. Oh, let me donate this to the Salvation Army. Let me get this and let me get that in. You don't even know why you getting rid of everything, because God's going to give you everything new. Then he'll get to working with your inner circle. He'll get to blessing you to see how people around you go act. Well, God just blessed me with this. And then he'll pay attention to their voices. I'll never forget this, y'all. I was in the grocery store. And, this was when I first got my first credit card. Credit One. I'll never forget that. And I had went over the limit. And I needed these books because, I love teaching my kids at home. So, Aldi's had these books for multiplication, division, and I needed laundry detergent because I like to wash at least I try to keep it. So I'm praying. I'm like, God, I gotta get this stuff. And as I'm going into the line, my grandmother called. So I'm like, okay, that's my good omen. And then I go over. My limit was, it was about $100 of stuff that I needed. And God blessed me to get everything I needed. And I got me some cash back. And right where I was at, I started praising God. Thank you, God. And people was laughing because they thought it was funny. But I was really thanking God because I had no way of paying for the things that I needed. And I didn't care who thought I was a fool. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Oh, God, you've been good. And sometimes the Spirit will take you. Sometimes the Spirit, you will get into thanking God and he'll know that you're really grateful. Then the Holy Spirit will ring through your body and you can't control the things that you're doing. And you don't know where you're going, or your body feeling different. It's because the Spirit then jumped inside of your body. Right? And the woman that I was with, she said, "You so embarrassing." I said, "Damn." Hood, don't embarrass me. I said, "You know what? I'll catch the bus home. You ain't got to take me." I had bags full of stuff. I had my kids. And I sat on that bus stop and I watched her drive on the way. Right? But that wasn't enough for me. I still had to double back again. So then, God blessed me with a Children's Place card. And I didn't have a car, so I called the same girl. "You come get me, take me to Children's Place. I want to buy my kids some uniforms." They had cut my Children's Place card off after I paid them all the way back. So I get up there and I said, "Ma'am, I don't know what happened. I paid y'all off and y'all took my card. Mind you, I got the $200 to pay for their uniforms." So she said, "What's your name? Let's run this again." Baby, God gave me $1,000 for them kids. You hear me? That's what I'm saying. God will move when it's on. So thank you, Jesus. Now I'm around white folks. Okay. I love, and I ain't saying I ain't racist. I love all my people. Told you the woman that changed my dresses was a little old white woman, right? That woman said, "Yes, God is good. You right. Thank you, Jesus." And I said, "God be damned." But God was showing me what he needed me to see. So when a woman said, she said, you just been approved, Miss Chalmers, for $1,000. I said, "Thank you." So I couldn't do nothing but just thank God. In that I looked over the same girl that when I was praising God and all the I don't understand that. I can't get no damn credit. And everybody around me getting credit. But God didn't want me to call that person. You hear me? God was showing me who that person was. But here I go, being hard-headed. I didn't need God to show me never again. Now I could see if I was just cursing and showing out, I'm thanking God. Because I didn't know what he had done for me in advance. See, God already had it set. She gonna go in that store. I know my baby. Camelia love to shop. But I'm gonna allow her to get the stuff for the kids and what she need. Me not knowing, I'm knowing they gonna say, "Decline, ma'am. You gonna have to take some stuff off the belt." I'm just getting my heart ready for what I'm knowing, because a logical thinker. And she got an attitude. I just don't understand this. And then I had my head down. I said, "Thank you, God." I said, "Say no more. What's understood don't need to be explained. Now clean your circle out." So I got rid of her. And I started doing all different things. Then I started testing people that I allowed in the circle, right? I got to the point that I could do nothing without asking God. And one thing I love to do is get my hair done and lashes and everything. If you don't see it done, I'm saving for something. So I met a girl, but I had already knew this girl. I went to high school with her. So I kept seeing her promote her business, her doing her hair on the internet, right? And I said, so I had booked the appointment. She said, "Well, you got to pay me a deposit." So I sent the deposit. But as the day was coming, I didn't want to go. And I was going through so much with my children and child protective services and everything. My hair started falling out. Started losing weight. I was looking real bad, y'all. And I was embarrassed because I felt I had let myself go. So I'm walking through the house, trying to get myself prepared for this, me to go get my hair done. Now, my first thing was in my mind is, oh man, I'm be around all these women in the beauty field. I got bald spots. I done lost my hair. I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. So I got down on my knees and I said, God, can I go get my hair done? And I heard him say, yes, right? But I'm very particular about hands in my head. So when I got into her house, before she touched my head, I said, I didn't, baby. I've been looking for it though. I got down on my knees and I said, will you pray with me? That was me testing her. Because there's everything in our life we test it. I said, would you mind praying with me? She said, oh no, I don't mind. So we got down on our knees and I just started praying. And I don't know where the words came from. I don't know why I was saying things that I was saying. And I prayed over her finances. Things started changing. And then we started building a friendship. And then I remember when she was going through something, and I said, remember when you first met me? I said, the first time I came in your house before you did my hair. And she said, yeah. I said, I'm a praying woman. I said, I pray about everything. I said, money really doesn't matter to me. As long as I got what I need for my children, I know that I'm going to get to where I got to go. But I had to get to this place because in the beginning, money was everything to me. If it didn't make money, it didn't make sense. And so God had to correct me, right? I felt like God had placed me to go get my hair by this woman because as much as I needed my hair done and I needed for her to grow it back out and to give me the self-esteem, to help me to rebuild my self-esteem, she needed me to help her rebuild her faith with God. And in that season, I knew that God would have me on a mission. That God would send me in places that I didn't want to go, to do things that I didn't want to do, because he was using me to draw the people back to him. That girl started going back to church. She stopped gossiping. It was like everything that I was doing, she was mimicking me. I will send you a new one. I love you. I'm truly chosen by God, I believe. And how everybody else was like, oh, she copying me. I ain't get that. I was so happy that she was. I would get up, y'all, before my house was furnished and everything. God would move me to do sermons on Facebook. I would do them. I remember God started giving me prophetic dreams. And I dreamed of seeing my real mother. I hadn't seen her since I was little. But I dreamed that she made me a pan of macaroni and cheese. A year later, my mother came to my home. After my grandmother died, after my father died. And I was like, damn, God, I'm gifted. I didn't know what the dream was about. I just seen my mother. Neither did I know she had became a pastor, changed her life around and everything. But God showed me in that dream, you gonna see your mother again. You hear me? Then I started reading Proverbs. And then I needed to ask God for forgiveness because I had been praying my whole life for her to come back. And when she came back, I was mad. I was mad. I was angry because here I am a mother and I can't leave mine. You gonna damn near have to saw a finger or something off to take mine away from me. But then I asked God for the spirit of understanding because I didn't understand it, but he made me have to understand as being a mother. Sometimes you have to decide, you have to make a decision. And even though you may be uncomfortable with the decision, it has to be for the better good of the children, you know. God is so amazing, y'all. And you will be questioning God, why do you show me certain things? Why do you speak to my spirit? Why is it that if I do something wrong, I get a spanking right when I do it? People do stuff wrong to me. It seems like they just be living life. I had to ask God to change my perspective because just because you don't see that God is spanking them, it don't mean that God ain't spanking them. Just because you don't know that they are going through and God is sending them through the dark night of the soul, don't mean that they ain't going through it. God made me wait. And for years, I never stopped praying. The lady in the shelter taught me how to pray. And even though I had that dream in 2020, she didn't come to 2022. God is an awesome God, but he's very mysterious. I ain't never questioned God since. Anytime I've been in churches where God allowed me to look at the pastor and read them, the deacons and read them, the members and be able to read them. And then I started getting mad because I said, well, God, this seemed like a gift and a curse. I liked it, that church, but I wasn't supposed to be there. I liked it, the people, but I couldn't hang with them. God will show you why he separated you. But you got to have a clear mind, and your heart chakra can't be closed. You got to be able to hear him clearly speak to you. Because when he's speaking to you, it got to be peaceful. You got to be in a clean environment. And I don't mean like, oh, your house got to be clean. I mean, you got to be in a clean, your mind, you got to clear out all the negativity, all the chaos, all the worry, all the doubt. You got to clear it out. And then you will hear him talking. But he don't talk like a regular person talks. It's so peaceful. It's so, you got to be in the right energy for him to speak to your spirit. When I sit here and I say I'm in chills, I know that I'll be on the right, because if I don't get the chills, I'll be looking for it. That to me is letting me know that I'm reaching where I need to go. I'm saying what I need to say. It doesn't matter where you start, collective. It only matters where you end. Remember that. I don't care if you're in nursing school and it's getting hard and the people around you are frustrating you, and then they asking you to purchase certain things and you like, damn, I just started nursing school. I don't got the money for this, and I gotta get, if that's where he wants you to be, if it's truly for you, gotta make sure you have what you need. I was so full of myself at one point. I was so big-headed. I felt like because I was reading the Bible and because I was doing better, that I was covered. But God had to show me that ain't you ain't finished. You got to change way more about you. I wonder why I didn't get certain opportunities that other people was getting, but it was because God was protecting me. And then later on, I seen why God didn't allow me to get that opportunity. Because all opportunities ain't the best opportunities in God's eyes. You got to ask God, God, allow me to walk through the doors you want me to walk through. Allow me to work for the boss that you want me to work for. Then God allow me to be the boss. After I learned everything that I need to learn. I've been praying for 7 days. God, allow me to be the best mother I know how that you want me to be. God, give me virtue. I thought it was going to be so hard, not being able to not having sex and stuff like that. Thought it was going to be so hard, like literally, like this is something I'm used to, And then when I stopped thinking about it, and then I said, but you got so much work to do. So why you focused on that when you got other things to do? God gave me a new perspective about everything, and I needed that. God allows me to know who I can lay with. If I wake up sick, if I'm discharging, I wasn't supposed to be doing it. Because sometimes, most times when you meet the right person, it's a heal. When you have sex, that's supposed to be healing. God didn't say we couldn't have sex, but he said to have sex with the right person, with the right people. I ain't never did it the right way. That's why I always received the shitty end of it. I'm preparing myself to be somebody's wife. But I wanted to be a wife, but I was never ready. I never seen a woman do right. I never seen the man do right in the marriage. I'm learning how to communicate, and I'm damn near 40. That shit's sad. But that's the way that the world make you feel, that it's sad that you learn it, but it's not sad as long as you learn the technique. You know what's sad is that when you don't know how to communicate and you don't try to do better, that's what's sad. I'm learning it's okay to not be okay sometimes. It's okay to cry. Cry is healing. It's okay to want to be by yourself. Because that's when God talks to you. He's not going to talk to you around a million people. He's going to talk to you when you by yourself. You could be at your desk at work. You could be in your car. You could be walking. That's when God going to speak to your spirit. Not when you with your cousins. Not when you, and then you know what? God has been teaching me to stop telling people what you're going through. Stop telling people what you're trying to accomplish, why you're trying to accomplish it. Because you will never be able to accomplish it. Because you don't know if they really praying for your better good. Boy, how I've been learning. And I'm excited. Why every time God showed me something different, I'm excited. I'm learning that a lot of my relationships in my life were trauma bond. I was trauma binding with people. That wasn't love. They were broken and I was broken. And two broken people just found their way together. I'm learning that love ain't all about sex. When you really love somebody, you can sit in the room with them and just look at them, read a book with them, laugh, hold each other, watch movies. I'm learning that when you really love somebody, you got to love everything about them. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Not just the times when they showing you the best parts of them, but the time when they show you the ugly parts. Do you still love this person? Are y'all still compatible? Are you willing to stay? And then I'm learning to be focused on Camellia. I can't change nobody. but I need to love me better. So it's been quiet. My circle been real, it's looking real shimsy right now. But I've been having the most peace that I've ever had in my life. And I'm okay with letting people miss me. Because when you had me, you didn't know how to treat me. I'm okay with agreeing to disagree. You may say I did this, I may say you did that. But let's see who's truly growing. Because I can talk to you and everything, but my actions, the way our lives are adding up is going to show you who's truly changing and who's just talking. I actually can say, I'm proud of me. Because I could have gave up a long time ago. And I'm so grateful for everybody that I've met along the way. I'm learning that people love drama and chaos, not so much the healing process. Not so much. A lot of times people stay in relationships because they don't know how to be alone. I'm learning how to sit with me, date me, put myself first. Because when you grow up in situations where you just want to be loved, you tend to become a people pleaser because you're searching for love in all the wrong places. I'm learning reciprocity. But not just to say the word, but really the action of reciprocity. I'm learning that anybody that left me, they were meant to leave. And I can't hold on to you. I'm learning that people are going to be who they are. And I need to be okay with that. Yeah, collective. No matter how many times you got to start over, just start. And appreciate the lessons along the way. Thank them people that they didn't believe in you. So that when God shows them who you truly are, you ain't got to fool with them. And you ain't got to give them no explanation why they can't go, why they can't sit there and sit at your table that you created. Because that's your harvest. You planted the seed. You watered it. You nurtured it. You kept going. First live I've missed in a while. I hope you come back. Oh, it's okay. Say that I now date me. Oh man. So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't let the world tell you what you should be doing. It's just a bunch of people talking. Everybody got a mouth. They're going to talk collective. But understand this. They're going to talk about you whether you do good or bad. It's just what they're going to do. Some people just talk to hear themselves talk. Start. No matter how long it takes you, no matter how hard it feels, just start. Put one foot in front of the other, and I guarantee you're going to get there. Don't let nobody rush you with healing. I don't care if somebody that you love passed 10 years ago. You got every right to still hurt. That's somebody you loved. But don't sit in it. The best music, the best movies, the best books are written from pain. So that was, I was outside today. I really did y'all short. I don't know what happened to it. But I love you guys so much. And if you don't get nothing else from this message, take this with you. It ain't going to be easy. They're not going to support you. They're going to act like they supported you the whole time. But did they really support you, collective? Were they really rooting for you? Or were they waiting for you to fall? Take time today. It says, my dumb phone, you're still live. It did you. It says still live. It did. You weren't. No, I was walking with the kids this morning and I was saying that it just doesn't matter where you start. I think I did like a 3-minute reel, but it didn't upload. So maybe God did that for a reason. But collective, be gentle with yourself and be patient. God is all about patience. The world is on a schedule. Everybody rushing to get somewhere, and they all still gonna end up in the same line. It's like traffic. You rushing to cut me off. You trying to go around my car, and you still at the red light. You trying to rush, cut me off. We damn near in a collision, but we still gonna make it to the same spot. Confirmation, my phone's extinct. Don't rush yourself. Be patient with yourself. Do it on your timing. You hear me? Do it on your timing. It's okay. It's just like riding a bike with no training wheels. You gotta be taught. You gonna fall off. You gonna scrape your knee. Get back on that bike and you control it. You may have to wipe your own tears. Wipe them. You may have to leave family behind. Leave them. You may have to revamp your business or your website or whatever. You may have started off some way and then now you're like, well, I can tweak it like this. I could do it. Do it. Don't let nobody tell you what you should be doing and they life ain't together. It be the main people pointing their fingers telling people, oh, you should have this by now, or you should do this, or you should do that. And they ain't got none of their stuff together. They don't, collective. Be strong, take care of yourself, put God first, then you. And a lot of people be like, no, I put my kid. You can't take care of them kids if you ain't in the right mental space. You can't pour in a glass if yours is empty. You can't encourage them if you ain't encouraged yourself. Fight for yourself. You got to. You have to, collective. I didn't mean to be talking this long, but I did. So I'm going to have to come back and get y'all a reading. But commit to you. Commit to you. And don't stop committing till you get to where you need to go. Don't let nobody knock you off of your path. It is. It's very good. Hey, Moses. Hey, Scorpio Goddess, Princess Galaxy. Y'all up in here today, baby. Let's see. Don't stop, collective. Keep going. You hear me? Don't you stop because you ain't where you want to be. God gonna get you to where you need to be. He always does. I'm telling you. God got a way of putting you in the rooms that you need to be placed in. He got a way of having the people come look for you that need you. He has a way. Just we be worried about things and God be already taking care of it. That's my biggest thing. Don't worry about something you can't control. You're gonna send yourself to an early grave. And I know that whoever I'm talking to, I know you're a mother, but find something that you love to do. Find something that creates a different creative side in you, because the kids got to grow up, and make sure you're doing something for you that you love. Never stop loving you. You're going to always be a mother. You're going to always be a father. You're going to always be a great aunt. You're going to always be a big sister. But take care of you. And know when to cut it off. Know when to say enough is enough. Another thing. Christians whoever you are, whatever religion you run with, God didn't say you couldn't do it. He said a moderation with everything you do. Remember, God turned water into wine. They say all these things about God. They draw him, they paint him a certain way. Do your own research. Because guess what? Even it was written by who? A man. Did you see God write it? Just be honest with yourself. So don't let nobody tell you how to have a relationship with God. They can't. Because guess what? When you go before God, you can't take your friend with you. You can't take your children. You can't take your baby daddy. You can't take your fiance. You got to go to God. Yes, God, it's me. I made a lot of mistakes, but I never stopped loving you. I asked for forgiveness a lot of days, but I never stopped loving you. I feel short a lot of the time, but I never stopped calling on your name. God, forgive me because I didn't know how to come. Forgive me because I really was never taught how to pray. But I know I love you. I know to put you first. I know to use discernment. And watch how God move things in your life. Because you're trying to get to know him. Because you're trying to, you're putting forth the effort. Huh. This is a message for somebody. I pray it resonates with the right soul. Don't give up on you because you ain't there yet. Don't give up on you because you don't got no support. Don't give up on you because they not listening. The right ears gonna hear it. The right people gonna draw to you. See, real recognize real every day. That's the thing. The phonies gonna fall. It's the real ones. See, I love watching real uncut people. I hate to watch somebody and it seems like everything's scripted. Then what can I learn from you? What have you been through? If you ain't been through nothing, how can you teach me about endurance if you never had to endure through anything? If you ain't patient, how can you teach me how to be patient? If you don't tell the truth, how can you teach me how to be honest? If you ain't worked hard for shit, how can you tell me what I have worked hard for? See, some people used to everything being given, collective. When you got to get it out of the mud, you appreciate it much more. I'm not in a race anymore. God say be anxious for nothing. I ain't anxious. I'm just patient. And I know that the right man, the right business, the right family. Because right now, I'm building a family. That's what I'm doing. I'm building my own family. And family don't make us blood. It's loyalty. It's honesty. It's truth. It's patience. That's what makes us family. I love y'all so much. I got to go study and get my house all together and stuff like that. But thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you guys do. Everything. And remember, collective, it's not about where you start. It's where you finish. You hear me? I love you so much. I pray today that God fills your spirit. I pray today that whatever way you walked in this room, you leave different. If nobody told you, you more than enough. I'll see you soon. I'm gone. I love y'all. I'm out.